Welcome to a Life of Freedom podcast, your source of inspiration and information on how and why you should choose to pursue your own happiness, pursue your passion, and design a life that fulfills you and makes it your own. And now here's your host, Ayash LKZ.
Welcome to episode 4 of season 2. Today we are talking with Talia, a digital creator, photographer, and travel blogger. This is the part 1 of the interview. Let's get to the show. Before we start, I would like to talk about Wise, formerly known as TransferWise. Receive money directly to your account with zero fees, wherever you are in the world. Hold and convert money to over 40 currencies instantly in your account. And get a debit card to spend in any currency, all with Wise's low and transparent fees. Try it out from my affiliate link below, with no additional cost to you. And now, back to the podcast.
So the first is, can you give a brief introduction about you and what do you do? And
Okay, so I'm Natalia, short version for Talia, and I'm a travel blogger, I would say, right now, full-time travel blogger since 6 months, and I basically try to inspire people to travel the world. I travel to different places around the US, around the world, and try to, I have a travel blog where I put add my itineraries and everything and tips for future travelers for them to create a beautiful trip and giving them all the information they need for creating an amazing experience, basically.
Okay. So how did you got started with travel blog?
I actually I was working as a digital technology manager at a finance company for a couple years before I moved to Chicago, and then I moved to Chicago because of my husband. He got a job here, so we moved, and I continued my job. But then I kind of felt like I've always loved to travel and to take photos, and I kind of started to I wanted something to do beside my job, so I started showing off Chicago, and I started off my Instagram and showed a little bit of Chicago, and then I kind of got a good response, and I started to show more of my travels besides Chicago, and my Instagram grew. And when my Instagram started to grow, I decided to also start a travel blog, so create a website where I also give more information than just, on Instagram you only have the photos and can't really give much value, I feel, or at least it's not very long term, because it's a photo and it disappears very quickly. So I thought, okay, maybe I should start a website where I can really control everything and work on SEO and everything. So I started in 2017, basically, and then it grew. And my travel blog, I started in 2019. So yeah, it's kind of it was a process over time. It didn't happen from one day to another, but really took some time and development for sure, to kind of also to create my niche. In the beginning, I did a lot of food blogging and a lot of landscape photography. But then after a while, I really kind of found my niche in travel.
So tell me about the day or a time that you realized that you could do this full time.
Actually, I was always super afraid of doing this full time, because I thought, okay, you cannot really earn money, or it's very hard to earn money with this business. Or I think it's still kind of a struggle, but it's definitely possible. A lot of people are doing it, including me now. So I actually lost my job a couple months ago, and this is when I realized, okay, I'm just gonna go and do this full time. And I started to do this full time in August, and now I'm almost doing it. It's about 5 months now that I'm doing this full time, and I really enjoy it. I mean, I have a very free schedule. I can decide what I do during the day. I can decide like how my schedule will look like, and decide what kind of jobs I want to take and what kind of jobs I don't want to take, where I want to like travel next. So it's very flexible, and I really like that about it. And yeah, it's I definitely didn't know I could do it full time until I was kind of pushed into it.
Okay. So what would your typical day would look like?
A typical day looks like waking up early, getting coffee, looking at my like calendar, like my to-do list. Usually I plan a lot of photo shoots during the week. I edit a lot of photos. I plan my captions. I work on Pinterest, like planning my pins, my blog, like I work on blog posts. So it's really a lot of editing, a lot of writing, a lot of like pitching to brands, to like future trips. I pitch to hotels. I mean, of course, hotels are also pitching to me, or like brands are pitching to me, but I also pitch myself. So I have to, basically I wake up, I have my coffee. I started browsing Instagram. I started creating my post for the day. I started editing pictures. If I have a photo shoot planned, I usually even like check everything that I have to do prior to the photo shoot, because I also have like customers that book me for photo shoots. So it's not only for myself, depending on if I have like a brand deal myself that I have to work on and create content for, or like clients that book me for a photo shoot and I have to create content for them.
So how would you say that you like start pitching an hotel or any brand? So how would you like go about it?
I mean, it depends on the trip. So currently I'm planning a trip to Nevada and Phoenix, and I would go on Instagram and just like look for hashtags that are relevant to Phoenix. I look for like Phoenix, and then I check what kind of images pop up and what kind of hotels. Sometimes you see hotel pictures, and then you kind of start writing down the hotels that you see that you're interested in and making a list. So I start with making a list of like the hotels I want to pitch to that I'm interested in. And then I usually message them via Instagram. I just say, hey, this is Natalia. I'm a travel blogger. I'm planning to visit this location during this time, and I would really be interested in working with you. And this is basically how I start off if I don't have an email address that I can pitch to. So usually I try through Instagram first, and if I get a response from the hotel, I make my real pitch, like an email where I attach my media kit. A media kit, I suppose you know what it is, but like basically it's like a collection of my statistics. So how many comments do I have? How many page views? How many likes I have usually on Instagram? What my engagement rate is? All the important data, and like a selection of my best of my best pictures and the previous brand collaborations. So that's basically a media kit. So I would like write an email and tell them who I am, why I want to work with this hotel, what they're gonna get from me if they work with me, so what I want from them in return, and I attach my media kit and ask them for collaboration and hope they respond. And most of the time they respond, and honestly, like if you pitch 50 hotels, maybe you get like 10 collaborations if you're happy, maybe even just 5. So it depends on what country you're going to, what place. It really depends on how strong your pitch is also, I guess, and how much, like if it's low season, I would say it's very possible to get collaborations, but if it's high season, it's maybe more tricky.
What kind of things that you look for when you are planning a trip? Like how do you go, how do you like think of like where to go next?
It depends, honestly. Usually I look for cheap flights, and wherever I find a cheap flight to, honestly, I find beauty in every place I go. So it's not that of course I have like a bucket list, like destination list that I want to visit, like Bora Bora, French Polynesia, or I don't know, I want to go to Alaska, or like the Maldives, some places that I really want to go to. But honestly, if I see like a cheap flight to Peru or Costa Rica, or I don't know, I would just go there. I really, it's very random, to be honest. If I find a cheap flight, I just go there. And then I decide to, I look for like what is important to me is nature outside, like doing stuff outside, hiking. But honestly, I find beauty everywhere. So it's more that the destinations comes to me other than that I really specifically look for a place. That's how it usually goes. So like my last trip where I went to Puerto Rico, it was basically the flight was cheap, and the tourism board reached out to me, and then I kind of went there. It was not that I specifically looked for going to this place, but in the end of the day, I'm always happy when I go somewhere because, as I said, like I find beauty everywhere, and I'm always excited to go to places no matter what.
So, like, what platforms do you use to to check free cheap flights?
I like to check Skyscanner and Momondo. These are really good websites. And then there's one called, I think it's called Hyper, I think. But yeah, the most common that I use is Momondo and Skyscanner. And that's the ones that I use. And sometimes I also do Google alerts. So Google Flights. So I just, and then I have like one that is called Scott's Cheap Flights. And it's very cool. It's like a newsletter that you sign up to, and they have like these, error fares that they are like monitoring, and then they are sending out emails whenever they see like a cool fare to like a country. I don't know, like I got like an email that the flight to Costa Rica is just $150 from Chicago right now for a specific date. So that's really cool. So I always like check these newsletters and the emails and see if there's anything interesting. But right now with the pandemic, obviously it's hard.
So like since taking on Instagram, like you have really beautiful photos, like all like professional. So so how do you do your photo shoot for Instagram? So do you like photo shoots? Do you use like your mobile, or what kind of camera? So
I never use a phone. Actually, I shoot with a professional camera, a DSLR. I have a Canon 6D Mark II camera, and I have like my favorite lens right now is the 85 millimeter and the 24-70 millimeter from Tamron. So yeah, these are like the most common lenses that I use, and I usually I either take pictures with a tripod myself. So I always do my own settings. I always shoot manual. I never use the automatic mode because I like to shoot very underexposed, because I feel like you get more colors out of it and more, you can edit more afterwards. And if I don't do the photos myself, my husband does it, or my Insta friends, other bloggers. I just let them know what I want. I set up everything and they just click for me. So it's very mutual. It's very nice to have this community, because you can always share stuff and meet up, and they also want photos. So you can basically, we use each other's cameras and take the photos for each other.
Okay. So how do you edit your photos? What kind of software do you use?
I use Lightroom. That's my go-to editing tool. I either use it on my phone or desktop. Usually I start editing on my computer, on my MacBook, and then I finalize my edit on my phone, because it's synced, so with the cloud, so I can just access all the photos. And I sometimes use other apps like Snapseed, just because they have or PixArt, because they have some fun features. So you can add stars and some light rays. There's one cool app called Lens Distortion. So if you have you want some nice sun rays or sun flares, you can just add them with this app, and it looks very nice and not too fake. And I also use Photoshop occasionally, but not that often. Just when I have to change a color of a specific object, it's easier in Photoshop. So it's really my go-to tool is for sure Lightroom 95% of the time, and then Photoshop maybe 5%, and the other apps.
Okay. Who do you travel with? Do you travel alone, or do you travel with your husband? Do you travel with your friends?
Either with my husband most of the time, or I travel with friends. So I usually travel like with blogger friends. I meet up and then we do like some short trips, because usually if I just do a content creation trip and not a real vacation, it's a lot of work. So I rather travel with like other bloggers that are also into working than with my husband, because my husband obviously he doesn't want to take photos all the time. So it's not like a vacation mode. So that's why I sometimes choose to travel with my friends rather than with him, just because it's easier for me to work during that time.
Okay. So, what purchase of like $100 or less that has most positively impacted your life in last 6 months or in recent memory? Maybe it's related to
You,
travel.
you mean like a product or
Yeah.
okay. Let me think. I mean, that's a tough question. Like for like photo shoots, I would say like it's $100. Yeah, it's about $100 is like my tripod for my phone where I can take videos with from DJI. It's like a super cool tool that you can use. You can put your phone on or attach your phone to, and then it kind of follows you around when you do videos. And I really like using it like when I'm traveling, because it makes video production so much easier. And I really, really enjoy having it. And it's my go-to tool or like product that I always take with me, like on my travels.
So, what would you say that if someone wants to come to like travel blogging, what do you say, like what does it take to become a travel blogger?
I think just passion for traveling in general. If you're like passionate about traveling and sharing it with other people, and you want to create value, and you think you have something to say, and you want to speak up about several topics or specific topics, I think that's all it takes. Honestly, if you love traveling and you want to share it, just do it. And it's a lot of work, obviously, but if you, I think everybody can be a travel blogger. It's just there are like different kind of travel bloggers, right? It's like there are travel bloggers who just have a blog and they just want to share, and that's it. And there are travel bloggers that want to work with hotels and brands all the time, and also have an Instagram and do photography like professionally. They're like all kind of travel bloggers, and I think they're all valuable. I mean, I'm not every blog maybe has like the most professional pictures, but maybe it's more valuable when it comes to information, that they give. So it depends on what you're looking at. But I think if you want to share something and you are passionate about travel, just go for it.
Okay. So you touched on this topic, but can you say like how does traveling make you feel?
It makes me feel free. It makes me feel happy. I love meeting new people, like traveling to different countries and meeting people from different cultures, trying new food. It makes me happy. It really makes me happy from like my soul needs it. It's just something that I always love, like since I'm little, I think, because I'm half Russian, half German. I already have like two cultures in me, and I feel like traveling makes you a better person.
Okay.
Mid-roll ad. I would like to talk about Wise, formerly known as TransferWise. Receive money directly to your account with zero fees, wherever you are in the world. Hold and convert money to over 40 currencies instantly in your account, and get a debit card to spend in any currency, all with Wise's low and transparent fees. Try it out from my affiliate link below with no additional cost to you. And now back to the podcast.
So okay, let's like jump back to like childhood. So how was your childhood like, and who do you think you would become as a child?
when I was when I was little, I thought I'm gonna be a singer one day or an actress. Well, that never happened. Yeah, that was kind of my dream always, like being a singer. I always loved to sing. I mean, I'm not like really good, or but I thought as a child maybe one day I'm gonna be a singer, and yeah, that was my dream. But obviously, life turned out differently, and I think I like what I'm doing right now better. I mean, I studied and worked in finance, in digital marketing, but for a finance company. And now I'm doing like travel blogging or like blogging and living my dream, taking photos, meeting amazing people around the world. And yeah, it's really, really nice. And I think I like where I'm going right now.
So, where were you living as a child? How was your childhood? Like,
I lived in Russia. I grew up in Russia. I was born in Russia. So my mom is Russian, my dad is German. And when we lived like in a tiny town in Russia, in the Asian part of Russia, actually. And then when I was 7 years, we moved to Germany because my dad's family lived in Germany. So we moved to Germany and I went to school in Germany. And then I lived basically my whole childhood in Germany until like I grew up. And then I moved to Chicago after like studying. So yeah, I mean, Russia was super cold. It's kind of Chicago right now.
Okay. So, are there like any inspirations for you growing up?
My dad, I guess. My dad was a photographer. He loved photography. He always like took pictures of me and he always had his camera with him. So I guess like I have like this passion for like photography from my dad. And he also loved traveling. He's like a very curious type of person. He likes to explore. He's very passionate about like seeing new places and always showed me all these videos and where he wanted to go. Unfortunately, he never had like that kind of money, so it was very hard to travel. But now he really loves seeing me traveling and living his dream. My mom, on the other hand, is not a traveler. She loves staying at home. But I think, my dad is definitely like inspirational. Like, I think he kind of was my inspiration for like traveling and becoming who I am right now.
Would you like to share some memorable stories from your travels? Like what are like the most memorable moments you had?
I remember like when I was like in Thailand this one time, I feel like, living in a Western country, I never like had to worry about money or anything, it was always kind of, I always like got the things that I wanted. So I never had any troubles or anything. So when I first traveled to Thailand and I went to this market, it's like a very big market in Thailand, in Bangkok. And I saw like these people, there was this woman, she was walking around and trying to sell, I don't know, like a little piece of gummies or something. And this is the first time I realized, how lucky I was, like how I grew, like to like grow up in such an environment where I had everything that I needed. And I honestly feel like traveling just showed me, every time I travel, it shows me what I have in life, to appreciate the little things in life, what I have, like the water, the fresh water that I have every day, after a while you don't appreciate things, right? It's just like you kind of take it for granted. And I feel like traveling and this specific moment where I saw this woman who didn't have much, I think she was blind, and she was walking around at this market trying to sell these gummies for like, I don't even know, like 5 cents. It was so cheap. And it touched my heart, and I just wanted to help. And I just wanted to, I just gave her some money and bought like a bunch of gummies. And it was really a touching moment for me. And I knew from that moment that like traveling definitely like shows me just to appreciate what I have and like my life and everything, and that I want to help like people around the world. When I travel, I always try to buy local product. I always try to support people in different countries, and like go to local restaurants and not like the fancy stuff, but like really try to be in the moment, in the country, with like the people that actually live there, and not like, this artificial, I don't know, world that is created for tourists sometimes.
Okay. So, so you can share another story if you have.
Okay, let me think. Another memorable story. I mean, like what I also loved, it was like, I love hiking, and a couple years ago we went to Colombia, and I don't like to sleep outside necessarily because I'm not a bug person, and I really don't like cockroaches or like mosquitoes or anything like bugs in general. So we decided to do this hike. It was like a 4-day hike in Colombia called the Lost City hike, and it was 4 days. And I knew if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna sleep outside in a tent, not in a tent, even like on like bunk beds outside with a mosquito net in the jungle. And it was such a tough hike because it was like super hot. It was humid. I was sweating the whole time. It was very exhausting. But at the end of the day, like when we made it to this lost city, La Ciudad Perdida in Spanish, I was so happy and so like lucky at this moment, because I thought, wow, you achieved that. You thought you never could do that. You basically were sweating the whole time. You slept outside. You were bitten by probably bed bugs, and I don't know what else there was. You didn't really sleep good. But at the end of the day, when I achieved my goal and finished the hike, I was so proud of myself, and I would do it again. I would do it again. And I love these kind of experiences where you kind of walk or like work towards a goal and you reach it, and then you're so proud of yourself because you realize you can do it.
So if you had like a big billboard like in New York City, what would you put on there?
I would probably, I wonder what I put there, honestly. Let me think. I'm thinking of pictures or a specific, like, destination I want to show, or just maybe a quote like travel more, experience. Like, I just wonder what kind of like quote an inspirational quote that I would put on there. Travel with no regrets.
So it's a similar question. So do you have a quote that you live your life by or think of?
Not really. I mean, I would say I love like eating, traveling, exploring. So maybe travel, eat, explore more, something like that. But not like a very inspirational quote. No.
Okay. So what would you say that is your greatest strength and your weakness, and how did it affect your life?
So my biggest strength is, I think I'm a very patient person and a very good listener, I'm a good listener and patient with people. And my biggest weakness, sometimes, like if things don't go as like expected, I kind of am too, I would say, upset about it, like I sometimes focus on things so much, and if it doesn't work out, I'm very like upset. And it sometimes is not good because I really kind of get emotional about it and can't let it go. So I would say this is one of my weaknesses, that I sometimes just, if it's like a stupid example, but if I really am excited about eating pizza in the evening, and for some reason I cannot get my pizza, I would be like upset about it, which is ridiculous because it's just a pizza, right? I could just eat it another day. But it's like one of the things that I really would like to change, and I'm working on.
Okay. So what would you say that how would the strength and weakness have affected your life?
I think this weakness that I was talking about, it definitely helped me like I had opportunities, I think, in life, and because of this weakness, I didn't really realize the opportunity at this very moment, or because I was so focused on this specific thing that happened that like brought me down so much that I really didn't really see what was in front of me. And my strengths, like listening to people, I think I just like, as I said, like I'm a good listener, and I think I helped a lot of people by like, I usually know the right things to say if people are down. So if like friends come to me and talk about things that are like going bad in their life, whether it's relationship or job, I always have good advice. And I think it helped a lot of my friends. And I think that's a very good strength to have in life, and like as a person, like as a quality.
So if you say that if you didn't have those two qualities, how would your life would be different?
I mean, I think patience is important to have, and also like listening to people. If you don't listen to people, I think you miss so many things, you know, like you just focus too much on yourself. And I think it's important to listen. So I think I definitely would have been a different person if I wouldn't have listened to so many things that friends told me, or like people like that are close to me told me, and I just wouldn't have listened closely and just focused on other things. I think I would have missed a lot of important things in their lives, and like how it affected them also. So that's for like the listening part, and like patience. I think it's also like important to be patient in life, and sometimes you need to wait for specific things to happen at a specific time. It doesn't happen when you want it to happen sometimes. And you need to just let the universe, you know, show you when it's the right time, and just be okay with waiting sometimes. And I think it's something that a lot of people need, being patient and not like wanting, like some people want things way too quick sometimes, you know, they want it, like if they want like something, they want it immediately. But sometimes it just takes time, because it's maybe not the right time for you to get to the point you need to be at this very moment. It just, maybe it takes 5 years until you reach your goal.
So what are like the books have you given most like as gifts, or if you have not, what kind of books have you?
You mean books or?
Yeah, books.
Honestly, I'm not like reading that much right now. I was reading a lot when I was younger, like a lot of thrillers. I read like a lot of thrillers, but nothing like to like, I've read Harry Potter and like some thrillers, but nothing like that is very mentionable. So I should probably read more often.
Right. So what is like your favorite movie or documentary?
I like Planet Earth documentaries. They're really, really nice. I also like this show, Feed Phil. I don't know if you heard of it. It's very funny. Like it's this guy, Phil, he's traveling around the world. Like it's a documentary, and he's traveling to specific like countries and like cities and trying different food. And it's very, very entertaining because you can see what kind of food there are at these places, and she's trying everything. It's very, very nice, because if you need recommendations for restaurants or anything, it's perfect. So yeah, I love Planet Earth and these ones. And movies, I like The Inception a lot. That's a movie that I really, really enjoy. I watch a lot of shows, to be honest, like funny shows like New Girl, Big Bang Theory, because I really like when I have a stressful day, I like to watch something very relaxing and where I don't have to think much. And obviously I love the Breaking Bad and like Walking Dead, all these shows. But yeah, I focus on funny shows like The Office. It's very funny. I like it a lot. Yeah, and New Girl, How I Met Your Mother, all this funny stuff.
Yeah, that's like, so that's kind of things with me too, because like I mostly watch those comedies, like, you know, because it's like it doesn't like it's all like funny. It's like
it's easy.
Yeah, it's like
it's easy to watch. Yeah, it's easy to watch, and it's kind of
it's like kind of relaxing. Like,
exactly. Yeah, that's why I like it. So it's very like, you know, you just put on the TV, turn it on, and just can eat your food and watch something like let it like run in the background, and just, you know, it's very. I watch The Office probably 10 times already, like because it's just so easy to watch and it's so funny.
Yeah, because like it's you don't need to worry about okay, there's gonna be like a big drama or like people getting killed or something. So,
Exactly.
okay. So what is something that you believe that other people think is insane?
What I believe that other people think is insane, huh? I mean, not sure if other people think it's insane, maybe some, but I believe in karma. I think when you do something good will come to you. And I think when you do something bad, something bad will happen to you at some point. So I always try to be the kindest version of myself. Obviously, that's not always possible because we're humans and we tend to, we're emotional. But I try to make the best out of it as far as I can. And yeah, I think karma, I really strongly believe in karma. And I think the universe, like if you have positive energy and are like nice to people, I think this energy will come back to you in a way. I mean, maybe also not today, but at some point when you need it, maybe.
So, like except travel, like what are the other topics that I'm interested in?
Oh, I like playing the ukulele. I just started recently. I like doing sports. I love hiking. I love cooking. Like trying new foods. I like trying new, like new recipes every once in a while. And yeah, I like obviously like traveling, and photography is like kind of goes hand in hand for me. But yeah, photography, like learning more about videos and like photo editing. That's something I'm interested in. And I'm also interested in fashion. I'm actually thinking of like maybe at some point creating my own brand. And this is something I'm working towards right now, like as like a goal that I have like for 2021. And yeah, I have a lot of interests, honestly. Like I love surfing, I love snowboarding in winter. I'm like a very sporty person, so I really like enjoy the outdoors and just doing stuff outside. When I'm meeting friends and like cooking with them, and hiking, and yeah, this kind of stuff.
So, what topic could you do as a TED talk? Like besides travel, what would be the topic for your TED talk if you get invited?
Besides travel, I think creativity and photography.
Okay. So what does rich life means to you? What is rich life means to you?
Rich life, family, friends, just spending time with them and being healthy. I don't need a lot of money. I just really, I enjoy spending time with my friends and family, and that's all I need. And if they're healthy and I'm healthy, everybody's good. That's what matters most to me. Of course, like traveling is something you need a little bit of money, I guess, to travel, but of course you can also travel on a budget. But yeah, like having the freedom to travel is of course something nice to have. But like in general, I would say, yeah, family and friends, that's the most important thing, and means like being happy for me.
Thank you for listening to our conversation. Don't forget to sign up to Wise if you need to send or receive money from abroad. Please leave a review and subscribe to the show. See you next time.